Yeah, so welcome to Sister Pods. Oh my goodness, today is going to be a very special interview, special discussion. I like to say interview discussion. I always interchange because sometimes it feels like an interview, then it feels like a conversation. So, how are you doing today,
I'm doing
Mr. George Ndeje? Thank you so much for joining us, aka Jojo Kilimanjaro. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Ndege.
Oh no. Okay,
You almost got it.
Ndege.
You almost got it.
Look, I feel ashamed because I'm from Africa too, but
It's all right.
uh
It's all right.
yeah.
Hmm?
And you hail from Kenya, Africa?
I do.
And what part of Kenya? What city?
Nairobi.
Nairobi. Oh, that's
Right.
wonderful. Okay, so is that where you grew up? Is that where your family is based?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. And you speak Swahili or do you speak Kikuyu? Are you Luo? What's your tribe?
I speak Swahili
Okay.
and I speak Kisii. Kisii is my tribe.
Okay.
And I speak Luo.
Oh. Okay. So on behalf of anyone who comes across this, any Kenyan, Karibu.
Asante.
And also on behalf of any Kisi, Tiga. That's the only Kisi word I know. Yeah. Oh, Mbiande,
Beyond
right?
that's right too.
Yes. Okay, well, welcome to Sister Pod. So excited to have you here. Um, I could not let the year go by without having you here because you're so, busy in the community. You are doing so many things on so many different levels. You're an entrepreneur. You are somewhat of a mentor. You are a trailblazer, in my opinion. And I just want to read a little bit of your biography. Um, just to give people a sample of who we're talking to today, to give people a little taste. So today we are sitting with uh, George Ndege, which would be Jojo Kilimanjaro. He is he used to be a stint as a marketing specialist in corporate America, and he got into food because that was his passion. He wanted to engage in his passion and to work in the community. And he also has a musical background where he's worked doing promotion with different artists. He used to work at a restaurant a while ago. That in fact that's where I know you from, Jumbo Africa. That's where I got a taste of your food for the first time. And then later on, you went on to open your restaurant that you're running currently called Tamu Grill, on Cedar Avenue. You opened that during the pandemic. Wow. I have to come back to that after I read a little bit more of your biography. And you grew up in Kenya,
Right.
and you were exposed to different influences of cooking, including, different flavorful dishes, including mostly like cross-cultural kind of food, Indian and African. And also, you also volunteered at Fresh Air Community Radio, 90.3 FM, every Sunday, and that's from noon to 2 p.m. Are you currently doing that as well? Still?
Yes, I
Okay,
am. So tune in on Sunday.
awesome. I, I definitely will. You have my word on that.
All right.
So there you host that show. I mean, your biography is, I can't get enough of it. You've done so much. And let me just touch on one more thing. Um, you recently wrote a book, I believe, and that book was based on the Roomba evolution. It's an informative voyage to an explorer's to explore Roomba's origins and and influences throughout the world. And you have been a fan. Oh well, actually, you haven't been fan. Well, you must be a fan of Roomba. But if you are a fan of Roomba, please do order this book. It's available on Amazon. Again, the book is called Roomba Evolution, and you just had your book reveal for that not too long ago, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Over the Cedar Cultural Center in Minneapolis.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so with all that being said, welcome to Sister to Sister Pods. I can't even get my talking right today because I'm so excited. And thank you so much for taking your precious time to be a part of this podcast
Thank
today.
you.
I
I feel
love your
honored.
background, by the way. That's a beautiful background.
Asante.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
another Swahili word you should know. Asante.
Oh, yes, I do. Nimesikia
Almost.
Kiswahili kidogo.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's hop right into this. So,
Mm-hmm.
first, before we go into talking about your career as a chef, your passion, how you came to realize that that was your passion, I want to make a statement here really quick. Food is very crucial to one's survival. Food brings nutrients and energy into our bodies, helping us to grow. It's very essential globally in regards to one's health and sustenance. We here at Sister to Sister also love to talk about the Bible. We reference it quite a bit. And I wanted to make a few references about, food in regards to the Bible. Food was, and still is, regarded as, or back then was regarded as an offering, a form of sacrifice to show God gratitude and thanksgiving. And there's several Bible verses that go into, um, you know, people showing God gratitude and what the Bible says about food. I'm going to quickly read one of those verses. That verse is Genesis 1, verse 29. It says, Then God said, Behold, I have given you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. This will be yours for food. And also in Ecclesiastes, I never get that word right, 9 verse 7, the Bible encourages us to eat with gladness and joy, recognizing that food is God's provision. And it portrays, again, like I said, it portrays food as a gift from God. It also talks about the same things that are known globally. It talks about how essential food is to the body, and also talks about the role in fellowship and spiritual nourishment. So now, with that being said, let's go right into this. So, Chef Jojo, what inspired you to become a chef?
Been my passion uh, ever since I was a kid. So I didn't start it once I moved to America. Um, After high school, I wanted to join culinary school in
Okay.
Kenya. Back then, there was one school, like one certified culinary school that was government backed called Utalii College. And my mom is those old school women who believe in tradition,
Okay.
right? So she looked at me, I'll never forget this, and said, I am not going to pay school fees for you so you can cook for other people.
Oh no, mama.
You can cook at home. And that was the end of it. My mom was like a very firm woman.
Okay.
By then, she's one of those people who were like the first generation of African women to go to formal education.
All right. Oh,
So she was a teacher. And that chef coat, that's why I never wear a white chef coat. That chef coat was always associated to the black servants that worked for the white masters, the colonialists.
wow.
So she wanted nothing to do with it. She never visualized her son wearing that.
Hmm.
You know, and in culinary school those days, you had to wear white. That was the only. Now we are all kinds of different colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we so that was the end of that.
Wow.
That was the end of that dream.
Just like that.
Until then, just like that.
Ooh. Oh my. Well,
Mhm.
that's very, very, very interesting. I don't blame her because that was a different that was a different time. That was a different
Yes.
era. Right? So I don't blame her. But then it's what's really funny, and I want to sneak this in. If you get a chance, you should look. The Bible makes references to men cooking throughout the Bible. It's
Right.
woven in there. So I absolutely, and it's funny because I was looking into that, not even thinking that I was going to kind of blend it with our conversation, but I was like, yeah, most males can cook. Actually, some can even cook better than women. So, anyways,
And my mom's issue was not the cooking. That
okay,
was not the issue. It's for me trying to make a career out of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
and and back then, um, Kenya is a tourist destination. So there's a lot of tourist hotels. And a lot of the folks that cook and a lot of the tourists are Caucasian, European mostly.
hmm
A lot of them come from the UK and Germany.
hmm
And back then it was always like the white cooks cooking for them. She did not like that.
hmm hmm interesting. Wow. Wow, is mom still with us or is she deceased?
My mom is 97 years old.
Oh,
She's here.
I hope I hope she watches this. Well, this is exciting. Hi, Mama. Yeah, let's roll. Let's roll right into the next question that I have for you.
Mhm.
So once you realize that passion and you presented that to your mom or to your family, and your mom kind of, wasn't really um wanting you to go that route.
Mhm.
How did you how did you suppress that as you pursued a different career? What led you to that particular career, and then what led you back to cooking?
It's a very interesting journey because after that, I got a scholarship to go and study in England. So I was there for 2 years. Um, from there, I came to the US.
Okay.
And over there, I studied computer programming
Mm.
because it was the marketable thing then.
Mm.
Um, then I moved over here and I realized I didn't like doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys where you cannot confine me in an office. I'll,
Hmm hmm
I'll be pacing, I'll get up, I'll move around.
Today they'll call that ADD, ADHD.
Maybe it is, so I did not get into that. Okay, my other passion was writing.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so then I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go to school for writing, for now, because my mom, believe me, kept in touch with me. She wanted to know how I did in school, and
Wow.
you know, so I went and did journalism at the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
Being an African, we needed those papers, right?
hmm hmm
Yeah, and then I went on to St. Thomas to do my master's in business communication.
Okay.
Um, I did an internship after that with the Minnesota Daily, and then I got into corporate America in marketing.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very crazy journey. And then I was there. I traveled a lot, but I was getting nothing out of it. I was getting
hmm
nothing out of it.
In terms of satisfaction, like
Satisfaction.
you're talking about that inner satisfaction, right?
Yes, and the rigidity of the workplace,
Okay.
you know, um, and following orders all the time, and just doing what needs to be done and not what I needed to do, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at some point, good thing we got laid off.
I've never heard anyone say good thing.
We got laid off
You're cracking
because
me up.
Because you know sometimes you can just not up and quit a job and you have
Yeah.
a family. So now
Mm-hmm.
I had a good excuse. I was laid off. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So in the meantime, when I was doing this, I got into music promotion.
Okay.
Yes. So now I tour the whole of the U.S. doing tours for musicians and comedians.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And then while doing that, I also realized that I love music and everything, but as a promoter, my job was to make other people's dreams come true.
Yeah.
You know, because I was promoting people. I did a lot of concerts. I did a lot of parties. At some point, I was the one who was doing the biggest African parties in the Twin Cities.
Wow.
But when I started, doing artists and bringing artists from mostly East Africa,
Mm-hmm.
then I realized it was their dreams that were coming true, not mine. As a promoter,
Mm.
you own nothing.
Wow.
you know. So then I started searching again. It's like, what is it I can do that's mine? That's how I got. Now I went back into my passion of cooking, and we'll
Wow.
discuss as we go along.
Wow, 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 wow. And by the way, you're a great storyteller too, I
Oh,
like
thank you.
I like someone that can keep you on an edge and, keep you laughing.
Right.
Yeah, so okay, okay. So let's talk about you mentioned something and it's very, very key. The
Yeah.
rigidity of that workplace. It could be in any workplace, it could be in healthcare, it could be in corporate, it could be in McDonald's, you
Yeah.
know, having someone telling you how to do things, when to take your break, your deadlines and all that. I believe that there are a lot of people who are born for entrepreneurship. It's just in their blood.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to organize and to lead and to get things done. So you went into entrepreneurship. And as I mentioned, I did meet you before when you were, I think it was like a co-owner or you were working at or running Jumbo Africa. That's where I was introduced to your food,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually followed you when you left. I was like, "Where is he gone?"
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding out from you later on that you had reopened your own restaurant in Minneapolis, and I was so excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I came over there to eat, and I love your food. You're a great cook, and I'm not just saying that to say that, but if I actually followed you from one point to another, that should tell you that your cooking is just really, really delicious. I want to know what was your did you have a fear about going into entrepreneurship? I mean, I know you just referenced, being okay with being laid off, but didn't you have a fear? I mean, weren't you scared that what about if this thing didn't work? What would you fall back on?
I was scared, but I knew where I had left. I did not want to go back there.
Yeah.
So that was pushing me. The second
Mhm.
thing that's really important that a lot of people don't talk about is a supportive spouse, a supportive family.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, let me just shout out your wife too. I've never met her, but want to shout out your wife and your family, your son Fanaka, who is amazing. I know you work over there. He's there working side by side with you
Yeah.
at the restaurant. And for me, that was one of the things that when I came to the restaurant, I paid very close attention to, how he was working, his customer service skills and just how he seemed happy to be working with you. And I think that's so important, not just for generational wealth, not just for legacy, but just for manhood. You know, you're, as you guys work together, you're mentoring him, you're shaping him. I mean, you have that time to really get to know him at the core of him and to help him develop those manhood skills that he needs to survive in this world that we live in, this crazy world
It's a
that
crazy
has so
world,
many
that's right.
demands for a man. So
Mhm.
shout out to Fanaka. He's also an artist, but he is a natural working over there at the restaurant. So how is that? How is that being able to pass on this generational, ideology and wealth to your son? How does that feel?
You know, it's first of all, we ran it as a family. So sometimes my wife is here,
Okay.
and then my daughter used to be here. She used to work the front a lot of time,
Okay.
but she she got a different job in her line of work, and so she works there. Um, but Fanaka is I'm one of those African dads that gave up a lot of opportunity to raise kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are times when I was at home, and I have no shame in this. There are times when I was um, the stay-at-home dad.
Wow. Wow.
So we bonded that way, and I, you know, made that decision to give up a lot of things in terms of career and work, so I could be with my kids. And there's too much going on out here, and my kids are no different from other kids. There's a lot of bad influences out here, or negative influences.
Mhm.
So I feel that as dads, we have to take our positions,
Love that.
and this helps us being together here. I can watch what is doing, how it's growing. But on the other side, okay, for example, this weekend he has a concert. He's not going to be around.
Mhm.
Um, what I don't talk about is that I also help manage his music career now.
Wow.
so so while
Wow.
we're at work, we are also talking music and
Oh, wow.
and all that.
Wow. That is
Yes.
that is that is beautiful. I want to go back to what you just mentioned, which is very, very, very key for us here at Sister to Sister. We are very big on the presence of a
Mhm.
father. That's one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm passionate about, keeping families together, whether families decide to go apart in divorce, but just still being able to maintain that relationship with your children. That is so key. And it really helps with their development. And I just want to say, hands, I was going to say hands down, but I mean, hand clap for you for uh, staying at home with your kids. It takes a real man to, and I really say this again, not out of just saying it, but it takes a real man, a real father to be okay with that, staying at home with your children. And you do, I'm sure you do see the fruits of those decisions now. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay,
But
okay,
I know
okay.
when
I had to,
you came to the restaurant, you did not see my daughters. They do come here, and my one of my daughters is a graphic designer,
okay.
so she's the one who helps with the marketing. She's the one who designed our logo. So I work with her in another capacity.
Mm.
All right, and then my other daughter, she's like more administrative, more organized and stuff like that. So when we're doing outdoor events, you'll see her there, and she keeps us straight.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know why I only thought you had one daughter. That's wonderful.
No, I have two
That
daughters.
is wow, 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 wow. This is very delightful information that you're giving me. We talked a little bit about family business and we talked about food. Now let's go into it because I want to know what is your favorite I want you to give us a sample so that we can get a visual. What's your favorite dish to cook? What's your favorite? So if I give you a plate and I give you, I'm sure you've seen those chef competitions on TV,
Right.
right? Where they're given like a specific time, maybe like an hour to cook something. If I was to give you money for groceries and give you pots and pans and everything that you needed, what would be your favorite dish to prepare?
Before I tell you that, you know what my favorite thing is?
What?
Is to open anybody's fridge like this and make a meal out of whatever is in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. And how fast can you do that?
It depends on what I'm going to find in that fridge. But I
Okay.
can put together a meal very quickly.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So tell me now, tell me that what would be on that plate?
So here, uh, um, I like to think that my specialty is curries. So
Okay.
we do chicken curry, beef curry, and coconut curry beans.
Ooh.
Believe it or not, but the coconut curry beans are really, really popular. Sometimes
Hmm.
more popular than the meat varieties.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's your veggie option then.
That's the veggie option. Our veggie option and the most popular one is the coconut curry beans. Okay, you can have
Mm,
it with rice, or chapati or ugali.
okay. Okay.
But what I like to make is the tilapia,
Hmm.
the tilapia fish.
Okay. And so how to give us a visual of that, you know. Are you
So,
do you clean the fish out? Do you buy it already cleaned or you do the whole
so
works?
here the fish is already clean. It's already been descaled, and the insides have been removed.
Okay.
Okay, and that is not something I would really have fun doing. Removing the insides. Okay,
The cleaning, right?
the
Yeah, I've
cleaning.
done that and I don't like it.
Yes, but here it's required that that fish be cleaned before it comes to the restaurant.
Okay. Good.
The Department of Health requires that.
Oh.
Yes, so we get them clean.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons why I like to make the tilapia is kind of like a Pan-African unifier.
Okay.
Like almost everybody from Africa can eat tilapia and knows what tilapia is. So here we have two varieties. Like for the East Africans, I'll do the tilapia, ugali, the greens which we call sukuma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kachumbari is like a fresh vegetable salad.
Okay.
That's the East African one. For the West African side, I do the same tilapia, but with jollof rice plantain.
Okay.
And they like their hot sauce. Those, so they want the hot sauce, there's gonna be a hot sauce on the side. So
Yeah, yeah.
tilapia is my thing. Tilapia is my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that tilapia, what's gonna be on the side of that, on that plate? There's gonna be tilapia. What are you pairing that with? What's your vegetable? What's your starch?
So that's what I spoke too fast. But there's two ways I can prepare it at the restaurant.
Okay.
The starch is gonna be ugali
Mm-hmm.
for the East Africans,
Okay.
and
Yes,
and
yes, you mentioned that.
the vegetable is gonna be the what I do here, which is my thing, is I blend collard greens with spinach,
Ooh. Okay.
and then I season and slow cook it.
Don't give out your secrets now.
I'm not telling you what I season it with, or and then the fresh vegetable salad. Okay,
Oh, okay.
or we can do it the same tilapia. That's why I call this the Pan African meal now. Um, the tilapia, I can pair it with jollof rice
Yes,
and plantain.
yes. Gotcha. Gotcha.
This is for the restaurant. But if you came to my house and I wanted to make a special tilapia dish for you,
Mm-hmm.
I will I will do that with sautéed vegetables. So I will
Oh,
grill that, okay, and then I will smother it with sautéed vegetables. I
ooh.
love it. And
That
in those
sounds,
vegetables, there's going to be a fruit called a mango.
oh, oh.
Right, right.
Wow. Wow.
So
That
if I
sounds
make that for
good.
you, just know you're special.
Wow. 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 You wouldn't believe that I don't even eat fish.
You don't even eat fish.
I have cooked it before. I prepared it before, but uh, it's one of those those foods that looks like it's alive the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, no, I don't want my food looking back at me. No,
Now,
no.
do you like chicken?
I don't like chicken
What do
either.
you like?
I I like beef. The beef has to be, I think I used to like stewed beef, but I'm also almost done with eating beef. I do eat suya. I don't know if you've had suyas, West
Yes, I have.
African seasoned beef.
Yeah.
And that's the last beef. I think if I stop eating suya, I probably won't eat beef again. So I'm not much of a beef eater. I'm more into vegetarian food now. So, and that's just a preference. It's not like anything about religion or anything like that.
So
So,
do you know that I do actually even do vegan events? I have a whole vegan menu.
wow, 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 wow.
So for you, what I'd make for you
Hmm.
is is a uh, garbanzo beans,
Yes, I know those.
curried garbanzo beans
Hmm.
with potatoes.
Okay.
So I'll curry them, and then I'll take the potatoes. I'll steam the potatoes, and then I'll slightly fry them and mix it all together. Then I throw in some cilantro and green onions, and that with chapati or rice is heaven right there.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Well, I'll remind you when I come back.
Yes, I only do that for catering. I don't do it here at the restaurant. I just do for catering. But
Uncle Jojo, now you're
if you
doing too much.
if you make a special request, we could make things happen.
Okay, okay. Well, I hope you guys have caught that message. If you guys are into vegetarian food and you'd like to have, you're having an event where you want to have some vegan options, you can always reach out to Jojo. His, Facebook is Jojo Kilimanjaro, and he
Right.
also has his Camel Grill, not website. I always say website. He also has a link right there on Facebook to Tamil Grill where you can find out more about the restaurant, where it's
Mhm.
located, the food options and all that. It's a very nice, cozy spot. I really do like that spot. Listen, I didn't know
Mhm.
time could run like this.
Mm.
I know. Okay, so do you keep up with the culinary trends? And how hard has that been? Because you see that food has taken it's taken a different turn. People are now more accepting of foods from different ethnic backgrounds. You find a long time ago it was people just eating just Indian food, but now you see people are eating Asian food, people are eating African food. We even have our own aisle. I went to Cup Food one time and I was like, wait a minute, it's a little tiny aisle, but it was a small aisle with kind of like African influenced foods. So are you keeping up with the trends as far as your cooking goes, your menu?
Um, First of all, I keep up with the changing eating habits, and so the trends could be more of people accepting ethnic food
Yeah.
or people ordering out more than coming in.
Okay.
So there's those trends there with Uber Eats and all that. A lot of people are not coming in to eat;
Hmm.
they're ordering out. Now, in terms of the changing trends, uh, the food itself, I do not change my food a whole lot.
Okay.
What I just use common sense,
Yeah.
um, and good habits, healthy habits, and include that in my cooking. So I don't use a lot of
Mm.
grease in my cooking. All right.
Nice, nice,
Okay.
nice.
Now, because of food sensitivities, I do not use dairy. I do not use
Mm.
nuts. I do not use eggs in any of my cooking.
Wow. Eggs too. Wow.
I don't use eggs in any of my cooking.
Wow, 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 wow. Interesting.
So that, you know, you could say, because it's like back in the day, you didn't hear a lot about food sensitivities, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like gluten is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gluten free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vegan is the same. So if that is a trend, yes, then yes, it's my same old food, but I have to go with the changing habits, eating
Oh,
habits. There are people
okay.
who've chosen to be vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who've chosen to be vegetarian. There are some who will just eat vegetables and fish only. So,
Mm-hmm.
in order for me not to be making all kinds of different dishes for people, because of food sensitivities. I just eliminated the most common food sensitivities from my
Okay.
cooking. Yeah. Does
That's
that answer
smart.
your
Smart.
question?
Smart. That's very smart because you hear a lot of people have different allergies, especially that people are allergic to nuts. They can even, suffocate and
Yes.
even die or, be hospitalized. So it's a very smart thing to do. It's very honorable too, and I think that's one of the pluses about owning a restaurant. You
Right.
get to make those decisions and, you do things however you want to do things. That is completely awesome.
Hmm.
Completely awesome. So I came over there last time, and I sat down and I had my, my food. Like I said, I didn't have the whole meal that I wanted to have just because I was on a time crunch. But I kind of watched you. I had a glimpse of you in the kitchen. How do you feel when you're cooking? Like, I mean, how does that make you feel? You're doing something that you're so passionate about, and you're pouring that you're all into that food. How does it make you feel after you have cooked a meal and you can see the final presentation? How does that make you feel?
You can only compare that with the feeling um, a musician has in the studio,
Yeah.
and then releasing that song.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the comparison I can give.
Yeah.
Play the
And
song on
I
the
know that.
radio, whatever. Because when I'm in the kitchen, actually, I'm in my zone.
Yes.
I'm in my zone, and I'm a different human being in the kitchen.
Hmm. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. We're winding down
Yeah.
here quickly, but before we do wind down, I have a couple more things to ask you. So, we've talked about culinary trends and we've talked about, your favorite thing to cook. Um, where do you see, first off, let me just talk about the pandemic real quick. How was that during the pandemic? I mean, you open up your restaurant and here you are going through the pandemic. I mean, how were you able to stay with your head above the water? Like, even in terms of like psychologically, you saw there's so much, so many businesses being closed and being affected. How were you able to stay on track? And then also, another question added to that would be, how do you intend on staying, the course? Where do you see yourself in the next, let's just say 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see your restaurant? Do you see yourself branching out? I mean, what's your vision if you can share, if you are okay with sharing that?
So the pandemic was crazy because what happened is I'd moved from a different location, signed a lease at my current location, and then went to Kenya. So the pandemic hit right after I had gotten back.
Okay.
So we did our remodeling and whatever needed to be done during that time, and also opened during that time. So
Hmm.
everything got stretched way out. Everything was delayed. We were supposed to open in 6 months. We opened after almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Like,
was like 1.5 years. Yes, and we only
ooh,
opened on Saturday once a week, and then
wow.
built it from there. It was such a struggle. That's why I keep on saying that if you don't have somewhere to go to, somewhere peaceful to go to, home, it's not going to happen.
I'm telling you.
It's not going to happen because the I don't know whether we appreciate something called peace of mind. If you do not have peace of mind at home, it's not going to work here.
Wow.
It's not going to work.
Wow. Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
it's not going to work. So we were here doing the construction, and we did all the work that did not require uh, professional certification. We did it ourselves, me and my son and friends.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. 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 This is so inspiring. And where do you see yourself? Have you ever thought about branching out? Like, maybe building something in a different city in a different part of Minnesota? Or, I mean, what does that look like? What's that looking like for you?
So yeah, I'm gonna share this, although it's in the initial stages, and I know some people are gonna get disappointed. Some are gonna like it, some are gonna get disappointed. But I am gradually moving away from the restaurant business, yes, and focusing more on catering
Okay.
and food production.
Okay. And with that catering and food production, are you going to be doing some classes? Are you going to be doing some mentorship, maybe packages, maybe opportunities where maybe someone can, be with you for whatever it is, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe one-on-one, or maybe a small group of people can learn from you? I mean, I would hate to see you move away from that. It just crushed my spirit.
I know it's gonna be so for some people, but I have done, mentorship programs. I've done classes.
Okay.
Um, I've worked with, actually, I worked with Osceola School District, and they use some of my vegetable recipes for the school meals.
Okay.
So with food production and food packaging, what I mean is, um, I do have my spice blend. I already have that, and our hot sauce, and there'll be other things coming out.
All right.
Um, and I wanna be more of. First of all, let me say this: the restaurant business really ties you down. It totally ties you
Mm-hmm.
down. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
especially the initial stages, you can't really go anywhere. You know,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I used to like to go to Kenya every year. I haven't gone for 4 years.
Wow.
You can't move. When people are
Wow.
depending on you, imagine if you had um, not necessarily, but somebody had a wedding and they're depending on you. Do you know what kind of commitment that is? That 300
Wow.
people are depending on you
Hmm.
to eat
Hmm.
on that day. You mess up, it's done.
I'm telling you.
You
Wow.
know,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
it's a
Wow.
whole world that people do not know about. It's not just about cooking. It's about it's about people's dreams.
Yeah,
Like I say, I know a lot of people talk about the wedding dresses, the wedding gowns, the whatever, the decoration, or whatever. But the two most important things at a wedding is food and music.
that's right. That's right.
Food
And the
and
people.
music.
The people gotta be there too.
Okay, yeah, we are assuming there's people there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the most important thing at a wedding is food and music.
Very true.
Think about it. You can have a whole room with no decoration to it or nothing, as long as there's DJ music or a band and it's good music that people love and they eat good. That, that's a wedding.
That's
But
true.
if,
That's
if you
true.
if you if you spend $1 million to decorate that room and there was no music and there was no food, man, you're gonna be the talk of the town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
we're moving that direction and doing more outdoor events.
Hmm.
You can
Okay.
catch us on the Taste of Minnesota. We'll be there for 2 days.
Okay. And when's that?
Uh, July 5th and 6th, downtown
All
Minneapolis,
right.
Nicollet Mall is huge and it's free. It's family friendly. You come on down. We'll be at the Duluth Reggae Festival. We've done that for 5 years. So we'll
Okay.
be there.
Okay.
Okay.
And when's the Duluth Reggae Festival?
July 19th.
All right.
Okay. We'll be at the Curry Fest after that. We're going to be next week would be at it's a difficult word at a world. It's over northeast Minneapolis, a 3 day event.
Okay.
It's about the arts and music.
Nice.
Fanaka will also be performing there, and
Okay.
it's free, outdoor, family uh,
Oriented.
oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so In the summer, we like to do that because we also want to be outside.
Yeah, you won't be outside. You
We
got
also
to be
want to be
outside.
outside, not just you. We also want to be inside. Outside, I'm sorry.
I'm so done. You got to be outside.
Outside.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
from
You are, I
next
just want
week,
to,
we are
mhm.
changing our restaurant hours. So actually, we are closing from this weekend. After this weekend, we are closing the restaurant for until June.
Uh,
Uh, yes, we are doing some annual
wow.
maintenance
Okay.
and then redoing some stuff here at the restaurant and getting ready for our outdoor events. We have a couple of weddings
Wow.
coming,
Okay.
you know, and then from June we switch to just 2 days a week, Tuesday and Wednesday,
Okay.
until it gets cold. Then we come back inside.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 You know, I just want to say this. And this is the final
Okay.
question. When you think about legacy, what do you intend to leave behind for your children? Because we all know that we're not going to live forever. And I always say that here as Sister to Sister,
Joy.
because it's a reality, right? Like your mom is 94. That is a small percentage of the world,
Yes,
you
she's
know.
97.
You said 97.
She's turning 98 in July.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes.
I need to get her a birthday present. Wow.
I'll let you know
Wow.
when her birthday is. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
see, when you think about that, that is, she is blessed. I mean, when you think about life and think about how fragile it is, and you think
Right,
about legacy, we do all these things every day, but once you have a child, you're doing things for your children. So where do you
right.
see yourself with legacy? What are you leaving behind? If you can share anything, what are you leaving behind for your children?
A sense of pride and ownership, and the idea of, especially within the Black community, of generational wealth.
Yes.
That's what I want to leave behind.
Wow, wow, wow. Nice, nice. Wow. I had an amazing time talking to you.
Me
I
too.
just want to say this. You are, you, and I said this before off camera too. You never really know how much someone has done till you sit down and talk to them. And just reading your biography, you have done so many amazing things. And you have so much life in you, so much joy, so much vigor. I know you're going to do so many more things. And I just hope, by the grace of God, that you go out in the community and continue to do what you're doing. And I hope that, people can get a chance to go to Tamu Grill, and try the delicious food and also follow Jojo Kilimanjaro as he, continues to do what he does and moves around and he's catering, he makes vegan dishes and all that. So I hope you guys are blessed by this conversation. Mr. Ndege, George
Thank you.
Ndege, thank you so much for your precious time, and you'll definitely be hearing uh, from me soon about the dish, the food.
Yeah. So before you leave, you know what Ndega means?
What does
It
it mean?
means a bird
Okay.
or an airplane. So I fly around. I
Oh,
don't,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were
So
gonna say it means food. No, I was
no,
gonna
it
say, oh,
means a bird. That's
yeah.
why, that's why I move around. I fly
Wow,
around.
wow. Wow, you're
All
doing
right.
amazing things, and I know
Thank
that
you.
somebody's gonna
Thank you.
watch this and be inspired by this. We don't give enough credit to our African trailblazers, the people that have gone before us, and so I really hope someone watches this and feels inspired by it. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
here
you.
at Sister to Sister. You have a blessed afternoon, and we will catch up with you soon. Thanks,
Thank-
guys, for watching. Take
Thanks for
care.
having me.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.